For all its beauty and splendor, the wilderness can be a cruel teacher. The mountains of Alaska are a crucible, testing your body, spirit, and judgment. In these frozen giants, survival isn't a guarantee. It's earned through grit and determination. One such mountain, Mount Johnson, located in the Alaska Range, is known for its unforgiving conditions and towering peaks. Mount Johnson, standing at 8,460 feet, may be overshadowed by its more famous neighbors like Denali, but it offers a challenge like no other. Its technical climbs attract experienced climbers looking to push their limits. One of the toughest routes is the elevator shaft, a steep and icy face that tests climbers' skills and strength. For Jim Sweeney and Dave Nyman, their 1989 attempt would push them to the brink. On April 14, 1989, Sweeney, a seasoned climber, and Nyman set their sights on the elevator shaft. After encountering poor rock conditions on the Moose's Tooth, they decided to focus on this dangerous route instead. Weather delays forced them to wait, but on the 18th, they ascended to the base of Mount Johnson. Their climb started at dawn, and by 7:30 a.m., they were already battling the steep, icy face. But what started as a promising ascent quickly turned into chaos. Sweeney, leading the way, triggered an avalanche while searching for a firm anchor. He was swept off the mountain, falling 100 feet. Nyman, fortunately anchored, was able to endure the avalanche, but watched helplessly as his friend fell. Rushing to Sweeney's side, Nyman found him unconscious, bleeding from his nose and mouth, and with a fractured hip. Now, it was Nyman's turn to be the leader, and he was responsible for saving both their lives. With no time to waste, Nyman carefully lowered Sweeney down the cliff, digging a snow hole for shelter. But their troubles were far from over. Stranded at 5,500 feet, with avalanches threatening their lives and the freezing temperatures worsening, Nyman made the difficult decision to leave Sweeney behind to seek help. "Please, don't leave me," Sweeney begged. But Nyman knew he had no choice. Nyman skied for hours to reach the nearest ski hut, only to find there was no radio to call for rescue. But a group of skiers, including a paramedic, agreed to attempt a rescue. Meanwhile, back at the snow hole, Sweeney's condition worsened. He drifted in and out of consciousness, haunted by fever and delusions. He didn't even recognize himself. The rescuers returned, but not with good news. Despite their efforts, they couldn't continue up the mountain due to extreme avalanche danger. The situation was growing desperate. Nyman, filled with frustration and anxiety, once again set off for Mount Johnson. Hours later, he found Sweeney still alive but barely hanging on. Then, just when things seemed as though they couldn't get worse, an avalanche struck, sweeping both climbers down the mountain once again. Miraculously, they survived, buried in snow, but alive. Nyman dug them out, determined to save his friend, but with another avalanche looming, they were trapped in a perilous position. In the freezing cold, with hope dwindling, Jim, weak but determined, encouraged Dave to keep going. "Get me off this mountain, and I'll buy you the biggest steak you've ever had." It was a simple offer, but it reminded Nyman of what was at stake: survival, friendship, and hope. Slowly, inch by inch, they made their way down the mountain. After 7 days of struggle, avalanches, and endless hardships, Dave and Jim were still fighting for their lives. The mountain had thrown everything at them, but their will to survive was stronger than the forces of nature. As they descended, fighting their way through avalanches, cliffs, and frigid temperatures, the bond between the two climbers was unbreakable. But in this wild, unforgiving place, survival was never a promise. It was something they had to fight for, every single step of the way.